And Rise Nation versus Estral Esports, the one that we'll get ready to hop into now, currently visiting a Game 3. What we saw District pretty much go the way of Estral 7-2. Rise Nation, they take Bunker 7-2. So both dominant games, still yet collectively a close matchup. And Ryan, in your eyes, obviously you talk about Estral, a very talented team. Rise Nation in their own regard is as well. What's kind of your thoughts on what we kind of have been taking a look at from a bird's eye point of view as two dominant games going either which way?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we knew this Estral versus Rise match would be a close one. We've seen Estral, like I said, I mentioned in the pre-show, just how strong the LATAM region has been at the top. In the last title in Gears 4, it sort of seemed like, well, there were some good teams in LATAM. It was pretty much kind of the Ghost Gaming show along the way. I don't think there was any real big runs at major events from LATAM teams, but now we're seeing the LATAM region set up to where they could have multiple teams who could be posing a threat to that top 8. Keep in mind, Chan bracket will be single elim. Do not be surprised if you see one of those teams make a deep run, knock off sort of one of those contending teams, because they're looking stronger than ever in this title, and it's no surprise to me they're taking a team like Rise Nation to a third map. While Estrals look strong, Rise, they've been improving sort of day by day, but they haven't looked as strong as we're used to seeing this roster, we're used to seeing the Rise Nation banner. So again, very, very close match as to be expected. By the way, what I tell you about King Choche?
I mean, hey.
Told you.
You were telling us in the pre-show.
The only way you got to challenge the champions with a king. so I recruited the king I know in Gears Esports, King Choche himself, and well, like I said, they might very well lose map 3. At least they were there.
I got to say as well, right? I think it's going to be Estral as well, continuing to utilize substitute from EGYX Krabby's. So he's going to be filling in for this team, which I know you've always been high on this guy, especially kind of toward the end of Gears of War 4. How talented of a player that he was from the LATAM scene. It's definitely kind of, an interesting mix to see him be thrown into this roster. Yeah,
it's something to keep in mind, definitely, for sure. I don't think Krabby's is actually even on EGYX. I think he was at one point, but I don't think he's on their Pro League team even anymore, too. But yeah, Krabby's definitely a player who, from my understanding, pretty young, definitely still has kind of a lot to learn. Very, very skilled. Of course, this is a good opportunity for him to get his reps in with a top-tier LATAM team against a top-tier NA team. We're going to see Crack being taken out by Avexis in that 1v1. Time favoring Rise Nation. They will win on 1. Expect to see Estral make a push over towards that C hill. Drix trying to be a thorn in their side, trying to kind of misdirect their push. You see the members of Rise Nation, they're just playing defense, they're just waiting. They just know the only thing they cannot allow is a break. Meanwhile, if you're Estral, you want to just throw everything you got into that hill. So far, it's not working. Krabby's goes down, Cardi gets dropped. I don't think anyone from Estral can make it there. The defense from Rise Nation looking too strong. And at the very last second, 250, 248, it is going to be Rise Nation. I love having that timer at the top of the screen now, right? Doing that last second math.
Nice. Yeah.
It's kind of tough. So
it is. I'm saying for
loving the game, doing the work for me.
I say for coaches, it was always a matter of like, okay, carry the 5, okay, times 3, okay, cool. Now we already have the score in front of us. I don't have to worry about it anymore. So the focus kind of remains on the gameplay rather than a few of the outside things. But of course, we head back to the weapon placement. We'll get somewhat of an idea as these weapon trees continue to be built, and there we have it. Drop shot for one side, and imagine, drop shot on the other as well. Nothing out of the ordinary by any means, as we'll kind of get more confirmation as time goes on, and whether we want to half the time, if we want to start kind of banning out the enemies for 3 rounds, we'll kind of watch how that dynamic progresses. But kind of on the topic of dynamic, obviously Rise Nation, Ryan, they end up losing a key player in Powers kind of during the offseason, if you will, heading into Gears of War 5, no longer with him in the team. Who do you think in this situation now for Rise Nation is kind of looked upon to step up, if you will? Who are kind of like the main slayers for Rise Nation as they need to kind of, progress on and continue? Because, of course, the skill from Powers was undeniable, right? His ability on the map was almost inhuman. Now for Rise, who do you, in your eyes, look upon as the major slayers who need to make the impact?
Yeah, I mean, they filled that gap with Detox, who is a great slayer in his own. Of course, Avexis is a player you kind of always got to look at for this Rise Nation team. I think to me, he kind of becomes sort of that sort of X factor. We expect sort of superstar play out of him, a player who moves very quickly, right? Very, very fast-paced player for a very, very fast-paced team. I think to me, it's kind of up to him and Shock. I think that this team will sort of live and die by those two players. I think you kind of always know what you're going to get out of Drix. Again, he's had, in my opinion, much better at Gears 5 than he is at Gears 4. Like I said, Rezik, a very, very consistent player as well. And again, Detox, unfortunately filling the shoes of someone like Powers is tough. But to me, I think Avexis and Shock are the two I look out for. And if those two players don't have a strong map, I think it's going to be tough for this team.
Well, and apparently in Game 2, Shock started off 16-0. So I think it's fair to say, outside of Game 1, which we'll just, act as if it never happened, right? No, obviously they, have a few, big shoes to fill, but in terms of just regularly how they've looked, it seems as if they are worthy candidates. That's without question. As we'll kind of now fly ourselves back into what is round number 4. Current scoreline in favor of Estral. As they do hold on to that B and C hill. Crack, unfortunately, does get dropped for the time. And you see Adverse at this moment is just kind of waiting for the play to happen. Krabby trying to set up somewhat of a crossfire. However, that one's not going to be possible as of yet. Here comes the flash. Adverse currently, in some ways, hindered based off of vision. And it looks as if Avexis does manage to escape out of here. So Estral, they toss through. Unfortunately, aren't able to, rather for Rise Nation, aren't really able to kind of hold on to that map control despite tossing out the flash. Rise Nation have pretty much rushed on forward and taken control.
You see a couple downs coming in from Detox. Avexis on the follow-up. Rise Nation lighting up the kill feed, going for that trip cap. Down in points just a little bit, but they can take out Crack. They'll win on a full elim. You see Krabby's trying his best to get in there. Actually ends up chunking one. Chunks a second one somehow. No one should be able to still get there. That got a little scary for a moment. But in the end, it was Rise Nation extending their lead out to 3-1. That would have been something else if we got that third chunk.
I'm saying because it was like Estral who pretty much rushes on in. As soon as they manage to do that, Rise Nation is like, finally, at last, you've entered into our camp. And that's when we kind of start to sink our teeth into things. Well played from Rise Nation when kind of in those situations, but it looks as if time will be halved from Estral, and same thing done from Rise Nation as well. So both teams kind of ending to mirror each other, which of course is common. But what have you liked so far? I know we've been kind of hopping into this game a little bit late, but what has kind of been the key for Rise Nation, you think, throughout the first 4 rounds, right? 3 for 4. How do they continue to do that?
Yeah, well, we've seen, like I said, kind of the same story we saw from them in Gears of War 4. When they get their numbers, they move quickly, right? Despite not having Powers in their team, who's one of the quicker players, they're still moving as a unit, right? That's still 4/5 of a very strong team, right? Of course, filling that gap with a very, very strong player who they played with. So again, their teamwork is still, in my opinion, very much intact, right? They're still that fast, aggressive team, very, very skilled, and they're getting those numbers and they're moving forward. The second they get that advantage, you see it coming in right now. Unfortunately, they are met with a drop shot. That's going to give Estral a few pieces of numbers. Rezik going to get one. I think Drix in the kill feed should get a second one, at least get that down. Yep, Rezik's going to clean that up. So despite that drop shot kind of evening it out, Rise continue to move forward as much as they can. The LATAM squad, though, they're waiting for him.
Enemy spotted.
Krabby's doing some nice damage from the top as Estral right now possibly forcing the domination. However, totally flipped on its head for a moment. They were capturing B. C as well gets lost at the same time. Back and forth we go, and the mid-hill still continues to go either which way. Krabby's only doing so much presence from the top. Has to go for the shots on Rezik, however, not able to do so. And Rezik going to let him know about it, saying, hey, you were up here the entire time and you only got nothing done? I'll take that.
See Estral over towards that B hill right now. They know the Rise Nation just has a complete lock on it. New wave of drop shots are up. You got to imagine that Estral's going to use their drop as kind of the catalyst towards their push. The question becomes, is that push coming in towards C, or is that push going to head over towards B? Rise Nation set up very, very well. It sounded like a drop shot was thrown out. We don't know which side it was on just yet. See Adverse rocking that Batista character.
Hey.
Deciding where he's going to head to next.
I'm ready for the drop shot. Called it the Batista bomb.
There you go. So it looks like Avexis still has one bullet in the drop. And he gets taken out, though. It's going to neutralize it. Hasn't been taken out yet. Drix with the heroic revive. It's going to keep their power weapon into play. That should give him a chance to get either the kill on Nicardi. I think he knows there's a play right below him. Going to shoot it down. It's not going to connect. Shot it a little bit too far. Estral going to hold that B hill, going to hold that 2-cap, start to build a bit of a lead of their own.
It's going to be so frustrating. There's literally a player right below you. You fire away the drop shot. Your teammates are saying, bro, he's right below you, and you can't do anything about it. There we go. They finally get him. I say for a moment, though, it's got to be infuriating. Oh, wow. They're all starting to line up. Crack, Reflame back in it. The few start to falter a little bit. Shock continues on the push. This Guardia as well takes one down, so trades aplenty. And you notice, like I said, that crossfire that's enabled on a map like Training Grounds. Cardia has the instant visual of that B hill and can only do so much. So as of this moment, Rise Nation kind of toward the mid game. You like what you're seeing, right? They go for C. They also managed to lock up B in that same situation. And Cardi's pretty much rendered to watch from afar. And Adverse just takes down Shock.
And look how good Rise was playing those objectives. Of course, Estral's right back in it, trying to get a hold of that B hill. You see their push coming. We're only within a few points of each other. So if Estral can grab this 2-cap, they're going to end up pulling away with a little bit of a lead as we head towards the final round. You see Rise knows they're pushing forward. Vexies goes down. The revives come in. It's going to be a big double kill for Crack. He's going to connect. That should give them the 2-cap once again. The push coming in. It's going to be shocked by himself. Nowhere he can go. A is beginning to be decap, but it's not going to be enough. You're going to see C go down as well. Even if they got it, there's not enough time with Estral holding the B hill the way they did. Not allowing this to go to a 4-1, keeping themselves as close as possible. I liked what I saw out of Rise to get a hold of those objectives. In the end, Estral pulled away. They got the B hill they needed to get, ended up taking the round.
Yeah, they do indeed. Crack, like you said, one guy to be looking out for. Already at 20 kills for himself, trying to lead the boys on Estral. It's like we said, it looks as if 4 right now. We'll see exactly what the weapon placement's looking like, but still, regardless, a big round coming in from Estral when they needed it to. And it looks as if it will be both weapons being locked for 3 rounds. So at least the drop shot not coming into play as of yet. Maybe in the meantime, we'll see the boom start to be built upon. Pretty much straight weapon on a weapon action, and depending on who you favor, maybe you're kind of looking at Rise Nation, depending on how their early rounds looked. Regardless, though, these early fights, always fun to watch, especially when a guy like Detox is now thrown into the mix. He and Vexies together. Always a scary sight. The shots from afar from Adverse are actually causing a little bit of havoc. Despite that, though, Rise Nation has come through early and done the damage.
You see the push coming in towards the C hill. Krabby's kind of stuck in a tough spot by himself. Quick push coming in from Rise Nation. Good teamwork. Estral's got to probably hop on that B hill. It seems to be their only hope. They have done it, but Rise has the angles. You see Detox just making it rain over the top. Lancering just everywhere from Rise Nation. You see Adverse trying his best to stay alive. There's going to be 3 members of Estral sitting over at B. Meanwhile, they're surrounded by Rise Nation Lancers. Players in Estral do end up spawning up, though. These are quick spawns. Detox is still continuing to rain fire, but just not enough to connect at B. They continue to get the revives they need. The only hill that Rise Nation needs right now is that neutral. Estral trying to hold on for dear life as they're just getting tagged from everywhere. Reza gets it down. Cardia being tagged up. Tries to come around. Shock. See if he can get one before he's taken out. Inevitably surrounded by 3 members. The answer is going to be no. In the meantime, though, while this is all going on, Rise is just continuing to build this lead.
They are, and they'll take this every opportunity they can get. Right, they lose C, hey, no problem. I'll go and grab B in the meantime, possibly. That one should go in their grasps, and it will. Like I said, Rise Nation, just a matter of time, quite literally 50 seconds, as that one will be permanently on the minds of Estral. What do we do? What plays do we make? How do we try to engage upon this? It looks like they will be going for the OE onto A. Detox having to back up, joining alongside his squad mate. They're trying to do some early damage. Shock placed out. Here comes the flash. Already one found. The trade, regardless, comes through. The knife as well in preparation for the downfall. Cardia, actually, he and Adverse managed to pick each other back up. Unfortunately, Adverse does get eliminated permanently, and there goes Cardia as well. What looked like a solid opportunity turns into their demise. A good effort from Estral, but this one, it's done.
I love that teamwork from Rise Nation. They were just absolutely owning that B hill area, right? They had the player in the overlook. They had players on both sides just raining in Lancer fire. To Astral's credit, they got a lot of those revive, and they managed to actually stay alive. Most teams would just get Lancered out, but they played close. They let the fight go on as long as it could possibly go on, but in the end, it was just Rise Nation who suffocated them, got the kills they needed to get, and finished that round off. Good first half coming in from them. Let's see how Estral can bounce back. So again, this is everything on the line right now. We're single elimination. This is the last map.
Intensity, like we said, single elimination, one slow series, really just even one slow map, and you are done. Like we said, second half inbound, new set of hills, and that's where E gets to be a lot of fun, right? Flashes once those drops, and I'm sure booms start to come inbound. It's always a party. Krabby's rather comes through and drops the first one, looking for another as well. As this will be Estral somewhat dominating in terms of middle, but you notice at the top left, you're saying D and F actually in Rise Nation's hands.
AC Krabby is tagged up, still putting that team fire. Good team fight coming in from Estral, just unfortunately with, once again, allowed Rise Nation to take control of the opposite side of the map. See the push coming in, it's going to be Reflame being dropped. Adver is going to clean up that kill onto Drix. That should give them their home hill back. That could allow Rise Nation, though, to kind of counter push that. You see them instantly spawning up, heading over towards that neutral hill. It's going to get to Estral to defend that hill with everything they got. You see the push coming in. They're going to have some utility at the same time to dodge. Rise starting to identify where the players are. Going to go ahead and throw that first flash, or that second flash. Counter flash coming in by Estral as well. We're going to get the first down. Someone has to get rid of Crack. They try, but it's going to be Adverse coming in on the flank, taking out not one, but two. Great job by Adverse playing for the team. Drix, the only remaining member. And actually end up OEing over towards the Estral home hill. Good play coming in from Drix to extend this as long as he can. I don't think Resik and Shock are even going to spawn back in. I think they know the round is over.
Yeah.
Estral starting the second half off strong. 3-4, we're still very neck and neck.
And I feel like in that moment when Rise Nation was trying to kind of make the push and bound, right, to kind of throw out the double flash, whenever they engage, like we said, it was, well, I believe, I forget who was kind of staying alive in that moment for Estral, but it was almost as if there was someone from Rise who should have continually challenged in that 2 versus 1. They don't do that, and the entire push pretty much just gets ruined out. I think it was Adverse who managed to stay alive, and in that moment, I think that Rise Nation player is thinking, hey, where's my help, right? I was in a 2v1, you guys are off in your own 2 versus 2. Let's play our advantages, and in that very moment, the play pretty much just kind of falls from there. Like I said, Estral, in the moments, can easily start to bring this one back. They seem to be on a level foot now, only down by just 1 round. And like you talked about, our final game between these two, both want to move on into that semifinal range. So here comes the early flash. Here comes the early confidence. Shock, though, has to back up. Rise Nation continues to dive on forward. No presence when it comes down to that top area, and Krabby's wants to try and expose that for as long as he can. Detox, Avexis, both of them fall, and there goes Shock as well. That's 3 down off the rip.
Good initial coming in from Estral. Doing everything they can to tie this up right now. It's going to leave Resik and Drix last alive. Keep in mind, we are on the early stages of the half. These are still pretty long spawns. Every kill matters so much in these early rounds. Estral taking control of the E-Hill. Starting to slowly build that lead. You see Rise Nation edging over towards it themselves. It seems to be where they've chosen to make their push, at least for now. You see Resik and Avexis. A couple other players there as well. It's going to be a 4-man push potentially coming in from Rise. If you're Estral, you're just waiting to see where those first pieces of utility go. Start to identify where your initial damage comes in. It looks like 3 members are going to push up, and 2 of them are going to be dropped for now. Can the revives come in? Here comes Crack on the back end. Lancer Fire coming in everywhere from Estral. No one's got it eliminated just yet. Avexis is going to get it down of his own. Rise Nation isn't out of the woods just yet. They're starting to connect on some kills.
This is a huge 1v1. That's for presence. That's for pretty much the pinch to be established.
Ooh, they're on the hill. They're playing the objectives. Rise Nation hops on the E-Hill. Good plays by them. It's going to keep minute. They almost let that go away from them, and Krabby hits a beautiful reaction shot on Drix. That's going to get them the D-Hill back. So at the very least, they played the objective well. They knew where the Rise Nation push came from. Went and got that 2-cap. Adverse, unfortunately, loses that 1v1. Looked like he was in kind of favor of those first shots. Cardia is there to clean it up. That's the best case scenario, though, if you are Estral, right? They did end up losing that fight, which honestly they kind of started off in the lead on, right? They got a couple of quick downs. Yeah. But at least made it forced Rise Nation, honestly, to redirect their push, redirect some resources. COG team still in position to win on 1.
Well, see how they play this advantage as well, right? If you are Estral, you kind of realize, hey, we're nearly at the 200-point mark. Rise Nation definitely in the back seat. I guess that's kind of the question. Not necessarily what Estral's going to do, but what Rise Nation is thinking. Think about the overextension Detox. Kind of playing scout, if you will, looking for some information. It's pretty much just win. Early damage done. Detox, like we said, just trying to learn some info. His teammates yet still to push in, and Krabby's in a very interesting situation, right? He's the farthest pushed up player who can instantly watch over this overextension. If you're noticing 3 red players on this side, Rise Nation, they want to invest correctly. Here comes the push. Krabby's, if he can take out one, that'd be huge. However, he can't on the other end. It's Crack getting work done for Estral. Despite 1 play from Rise Nation, they're only limited now in terms of their man count. They're down to 2. They're down to 1. Detox, there he goes. Bodies flying everywhere, as this one should be Estral's in the bag.
Good job by Estral holding down that 1 hill they needed to. They ended up getting that break at the end, too, so I think they would have been fine had they lost it. But good couple chain rounds together. Certainly owned in the second half as of right now.
Do you like that play, though, for Rise in that situation? I mean, they're kind of in a spot where they're relying on 1 fight. And I'm not sure if maybe the timing doesn't even allow for a second one, but in that situation, I feel like they kind of waited and they banked on one particular 1v1 to go their way. It does, but even still yet, I guess it was kind of one side winning their fight. It's kind of Estral who's pretty much playing guerrilla-style warfare, and you have one team that's pretty much just running through no man's land. Yeah,
definitely risky. I mean, like, at the same time, right, you can look at on the flip side, too, if you want to be Estral. Like, do you want to be in a position where you only have to kind of defend that one hill, right? Because we've seen time and time again teams throw away rounds by trying to only secure one hill, not playing, kind of forward and getting torched at the end from it. So, again, it's kind of, and it looks like might have a disconnect.
Oh.
I'm seeing them running back to spawn. Haven't seen anyone taken out just yet. It could be Krabby. Looks like Krabby doesn't have any weapons on his loadout, so that's probably my guess.
Guys, I don't have any weapons, so could someone possibly maybe hand one over, get an idea on how this works? Who knows? But regardless, though, like I said, Estral, a very talented team, as you've talked about, right? The current, I believe, leader in terms of the LATAM circuit as of this moment, having a 3-1 scoreline for right now. They've got 7 points, currently leading over Ghost, Giving, Fire and Ice, and EGYX. So clearly a very talented team, and one roster that you've talked about as being maybe the next LATAM squad to kind of come through and make multiple teams from the LATAM community, very, I guess you could say, competitive when it comes down to the regular circuit.
Yeah, I mean, the top side of the LATAM region is definitely much stronger, at least right now, than it was in Gears 4. And Gears 4 really was sort of the Ghost Gaming show.
Right.
Crack and these guys put together some decent teams, made okay runs, but never really made any super strong run. It was always the members of Ghost or when they were on Splice, whatever it may be, that were making those kind of deep runs for their scene. But now we're in a spot where, like, you see this Estral team right now, right? This Estral team can compete with teams that we would consider sort of contenders in the NA, right? Rise Nation, outright one of the top teams in NA that we've kind of known for years now, right? You see Estral taking them to the limit with a sub, by the way, right? With a sub. So that very well could be a matchup that at an event, keep in mind, this event's also going to be single elim. Sometimes you just need to catch a team off guard once. Also, the practice, right? Got to think about that. How often, because in Pro League, you only play teams in your division, right? So, like, you're not getting a ton of practice. I mean, you can always schedule practice against them, but you're not practicing against them as much as you're getting those reps against those NA teams. So Estral is very much a team that can be taking some of these teams off guard. Don't be surprised if you see them in the top 8. I mean, like I said, single elim, right? Depending on who they get in the round of 8. Don't be surprised if you see a team like them maybe make as far as the round of 4. I know that sounds crazy to think about, right? I know it sounds insane to think that, but like I said, they've beaten teams like they've beaten teams like Ghost in Pro League already. I know Ghost is on the uprise, and again, if you were to put your bet your house on a LATAM team, you're always going to bet your house on Ghost. But this is a team that can compete with the best of them, as you're seeing right in front of you. So to me, like I said, I'm loving what I'm seeing out of this region. Again, King Choche and the boys looking strong as well. So there's definitely some LATAM teams. Like I said, Choche took Reciprocity, last week's champion, to map 3, right? So there's just a lot of strong teams at the top side of the region. Looking forward to seeing kind of if they can make that run in San Diego. But it looks like Krabby's is back on the map. They are rolling out of spawn. He's rocking that NRG Lancer. Trying to try to tap into some of the power of the NRG boys, maybe as we sit on a 4-4 scoreline on our tiebreaker. Speaking of Krabby's, he's going to make his way around. Drop shot's going to be shot. That's going to equalize the angle he had. Avexy's realized it early, made sure that he got out of there. 5v4 situation in favor of Rise Nation. You see Adverse moving forward. Sees a sea of Swarm, takes out one. Crack's going to get one as well. Numbers in favor of Estral. Rise Nation trying to adapt, trying to fight back. Avexy gets hit with an absolute brick. He knows he's got to move back. Unfortunately, side rolls into that cover now. Shock. Stuck in a tough spot, right? Can he go revive his teammate? The answer is going to look like it is no. Numbers completely in Estral's favor. Rezik and Detox, all that currently remain. Map control, hill control in favor of Estral.
That's great. That's said, when it comes down to it, Estral, how they kind of start to respond back, and now kind of put in a situation in which we've, you outlined it correctly and very well, right? A matter of how this team looks to be in top form. A roster that currently finds himself atop the Pro League right now in terms of LATAM. 3-1, a roster that's taken down Ghost, like we said early on in the Pro League, which looks to be a different team, but even still yet, a roster that's got a lot of grit, a lot of potential, and even is utilizing a sub right now. A lot to look forward to when it comes down to this team, and even at the start of this current round. A great way to play it. Cardia, he's known for those plays. Unfortunately, Shock as well is known for the plays with the drop shot on the other end, though. Adverse is there for the instant trade. So Rise Nation continually being pushed back. And right now, if you're Estral, you're fine with the trade, right? A trade still equals your ability on time to still win this one out. And here comes the Marks going to work. Reflame trying to stay up for the time. Unfortunately, he will be cut down. Drops everywhere, but Rise Nation, they're making the impact that they want. Drix takes down the one that matters the most, the man who was pretty much heading up what could have been the push. Crack will fall inside of the hill, and now it is left up to one in the back lines. Cardia. And he drops as well. Rise Nation successfully pushed through the mid lane.
They're on the move right now. You see they have their eyes set on that D hill. So the members of Estral were able to spawn up. Rezik, a bit of a tough spot. Ends up getting it down and securing it now. His team's in position to help him out. Good teamwork coming in from Rise Nation. This will let them, you can see Swarm will win in 45 seconds. This will let them equalize the time, but for how long? Estral's hopped on the F hill. Good rotations coming in from them. Big team fight coming in. Members are going to go down. Both members of Estral go down. Huge plays coming in from Rezik. Huge plays from Drix. That's going to buy them their home hill back. That's going to buy them the Estral home hill. Just like that, it's been flipped on its head. Krabby's makes his way over towards E. That will bring Estral back into the round, but things are all Rise Nation right now. Estral has to make a huge play off of spawn, and that's not a good way to start it.
Definitely not. However, D, that's the fight to be looking out for. Crack is trying to stay alive, has to go for the decap. However, here comes the play, and it's actually going to be Shock who takes down Detox. A little bit of freedom granted, but still even yet, you have to be aware of the scoreline, which is in favor of Rise. They've just now are trying to cap D, earning no points, and he can't win it. Doesn't manage to do so on the other side of the map. Those fights don't go their way either. Two different situations in which Estral needs to win them, and they can't do it. A very emphatic round, one that lasted 6 minutes and 18 seconds. Yeah, it's fine. You know, we may or have not had to restart at the beginning, but regardless, though, Rise Nation, they get it done, and now they find themselves in the driver's seat.
Yeah, definitely a big push coming in from them. And again, they use their teamwork so well that you saw Rezik was pushed up there, got the first down. Looked like he was kind of cut out in the open, but every time a member of Estral would try to gun for him, members of Rise were there to back him up, keep him alive, was able to shoot with his team and get out of there. Loved that teamwork from Rise Nation. They find themselves sitting now at 5-4 on our tiebreaker. Boom shots everywhere, drop shots everywhere. Drop shots halved at 75.
Fiesta time.
Boom shots are at 150. Life is indeed a party right now on training grounds. Hopping on board with Shock. Has his eyes set on Krabby. Beats him there a little bit. Decides to kind of match him. Detox with that first blood. Rise Nation. Oh, and Shock makes Crack pay. Crack went for the flank, missed the shot. Shock absolutely turns on him. Even gets the down onto Krabby. So definitely a misplay coming in from Crack, which allowed Rise Nation to clean up at least 2 more kills. They're pushing forward. Their sights are now set on that F hill. See the drop come in. It's going to miss. But at least at the start, a strong showing from Rise. And now they're going to start to build a lead.
It's like been these certain situations where Rise Nation just kind of shows their dominance, and Estral doesn't really have a counter for it. Maybe some new life, maybe just a matter of positioning callouts being granted toward the side of Rise Nation. Unfortunately, Cardia can't make the boom shot land. That would have been awesome if they could have got that player in that top position eliminated. That would kind of end the pinch, and you see their focus onto Detox. Get this man damaged up. Try to get his health low and engage from there. Shock on one side does take down Adverse, so that will at least be somewhat of a benefit for the Rise Nation side in terms of multiple positions. However, Krabby's just right around the corner, trying to change things up for as long as possible. The near domination, but Shock, nice work up close. He'll at least go for the decap, so no points currently earned right now for Estral.
Yeah, Rise just has everything going for them right now. Cardia is just stuck in such a tough spot, tries to do what he can, but Rezik is going to get him around that corner. Adverse is going to be dropped. Reflame and Krabby's not even going to spawn back in. Rise Nation now finds themselves, after a very, very close kind of first half, right? 4-4, are starting to pull away. They tie up the second half score. Now they find themselves on map and match point.
Yeah, it's starting to look scary. And like we said, it's kind of been these early sequences, kind of off the start, or really at one particular moment, Rise Nation instantly makes their presence felt, and Estral just has not had any answers. And we talk about fiestas, now we just got some extra salsa in the mix, man. I tell you what, drop and boom, now limited in terms of time. And that could or could not be a benefit for Estral in this moment, right? It's either get the round done quick, make a certain emphasized moment happen, but if you are on the side of Rise Nation, you're saying, hey, we've been great at these big and kind of influential situations, so we'll have to see how it all lines out.
Hopping on board with Shock once again, had a huge round. Last engagement. Unfortunately, misrolls into Krabby's. Krabby's goes for the melee, misses it. Shock gets the chunk. Taken to full red, gets cleaned up by Adverse. And now, despite Shock kind of starting off hot, gets a couple opening kills, but Drix follows up. Estral's push, and then Estral misses a boom.
Cardia, no.
Trades everywhere.
That's 2 rounds in a row where Cardia is missing influential boom shot.
And Drix is still holding strong. Reeflin kind of missed that LT, and finally they do end up dropping Drix, but not before his teammates are there for the rescue. Flashes are coming in.
Wow.
Rezik not able to connect. He's going to be dropped. You see Avex, he's trying to cut his losses as fast as he can. Managed to get out before being downed. Respawns looking still pretty strong for Rise Nation. A lot of them at like what looks like 4, 4, 2, 3, 4 on the other end. Estral, a couple guys with 2. Actually 3 members with 2. So Rise Nation definitely winning the respawn. Here comes their push now. Can they make the bleeding continue? Adverse is running away. Crack gets it down.
Here come the drops.
But here comes the revive now. Crack's in a tough spot. There's a counter flash, but not before getting absolutely bricked. Cardi is there with the drop. Once again, trades are coming in, and Rise is on the hill. Rise is taking control of the objectives they need to right now. Estral's up still quite a bit. Still in position to win. Second round of boom shots come up, and Rise gets them both. Shock and Drix each with a boom shot of their own.
Oh my gosh. Literally 4 to 5 players with a power weapon. Starting to get scary right here for Estral. Like we said, they've currently got their D, or rather their home hill in terms of things. In limbo, Cardi at least manages to drop 1.
He was about to LT over the cover and finish the kill. Heads up play. Getting that last shot on him before his could connect. Unlucky. Drake's going to go ahead and take out himself and Crack.
He said this life wasn't for me anyway.
Rise does win off 2 right now. He said Estral still has a decent-sized lead. They have some time to play with, but keep in mind, power weapons have been in favor of Rise when it comes to picking them up. Krabby's takes out Shock. It's a good start. Shock's been so influential so far.
I think the call for Rise Nation as well is, hey, let's try to finish this off or get so much of an advantage before these power weapons begin to respawn again. Like we said, the overall advantage starting to swap off here soon. Swarm still wins in 30 seconds. Here comes the shot from Adverse in the back. Keeping in mind his home hill currently exists in the Rise Nation camp.
Eyes on target.
Pretty much just has to spectate this one from afar, trying to keep in mind that the E hill is the one they had to hold on to as well. Rise Nation grabs that, and this one is over. And that's the issue that Estral's running into. It's a matter of, hey, we want to try to invest players into our home hill, but at the same time, we also want to be aware of the only hill that we currently possess, so they do lock in D. However, they are in the midst of limbo at E. Cardia does take down 1 onto Rezik, in a great situation here for Estral, trying to pretty much juggle all of their assets. Rise, they need to make something happen, and they're not going to do it.
That got close. Rezik almost absolutely embarrassed both Crack and another member of Estral. Luckily for them, another member off spawn came and finished him off. Good job by Estral playing those objectives towards the end. Lucky for them, they had, lucky for them, Estral had that kind of cushion of time in the beginning. If they didn't have that big lead that Rise was kind of fighting towards the entire time, Rise would have been in position to win. Good plays by Estral to kind of basically strike when it mattered, because at one point it was sitting at 220 to 220. Estral had like that sort of half-second lead where their 220 hits a little beforehand, but it was literally neck and neck with 30 seconds to spare. They hit the neutral hill, they retain their home hill, and now we find ourselves at 5 to 6, one step closer to that round 13. We somehow see round 13s. I don't even know what percentage in the UMG studio, but it seems like so many of our matches that we have on broadcast go to a round 13. Let's see if we have one more.
Yeah, they weren't done here. They want to lock this one up ASAP before we could possibly see that round 13. What a shot from Shock. Kind of the all-star in terms of elimination so far throughout this game. I think, 49 now for this game. Wants to lock it up ASAP. As like we said, Rise Nation, they have had certain moments at the start of rounds that are so influential. However, there's the pick. Adverse manages to get it. That's going to give someone of a map position for Estral, but they get locked in, Ryan. They get caught on the wall.
They flash themselves too. Unfortunate. You see Avexy's pushing forward, getting tagged from the back. Has to be careful here not to be dropped. Reflame would be in a position to kind of get that pickup. Look at Krabby's in the back end. Avexy's and Drix are surrounded. What can they do to survive? They have some help. They have some reinforcements. It's going to be Shock. Had a huge play in the beginning, and he's following it up once again. Shock is going absolutely berserk on this map right now. Avexy gets a good brick. He's going to be able to take Reflame out. Somehow, Rise Nation is continuing to hold this. They're getting hit from all angles. They continue to persevere. Adverse finally takes out the star of the show. Crack's going to follow up on Avexy's. That will give them the E-Hill. You can see Rezik on his way out trying to cut his losses. Shock made so many plays there before finally being taken out, and Rise Nation, at the very least, like I said, still have a 60-point lead. We saw what that kind of cushion did for Estral last round. We could see the same situation unfold, this time in favor of Rise.
Definitely possible, that's without question. You can start to feel the intensity a little bit, like we said, COG team. You can see that score indicated in 70 seconds. They've got this one locked up. So yeah, that starts to kind of dictate the pace a little bit. Rise Nation trying to allocate their players correctly. You got to imagine E-Push is inbound based on where they've got players. They do have the boom. They've gotten the drop for the other side. You've got pretty much the same setup as well. Here comes the early flash, but the shot lands for Reflame. They aren't able to answer back. A big position where Avexy's needs to counter the boom shot coming in from the opposition. He's not able to do it. That's 3 down for Rise.
You can see Avexy's is surrounded too. Reflame has to be careful here, uses teamwork. Luckily, Avexy's missed that second shot before being taken out. Adverse putting the drop to use, taking his teammate out along the way, but now they have taken the lead. Estral continues to hold this 2-cap. They see Rise Nation edging towards their home hill. Shock and the attack with some initial damage. I think Adverse did not mean to hit that cover because now Shock takes the 1v1 for the home hill. There's still plenty of time for Rise Nation to take control. You see 3 go down. Shock wins another one on Nicardia. Shock is absolutely the player of the map for this Rise Nation squad if they win this, and it looks like they're in position. 5 instantly wiped off the map. Estral was set up so well, but Shock just reigns all over their parade. Big play after big play, winning back-to-back 1Vs for the hill and for the bread. Huge congratulations to Rise Nation for coming out, winning this final map, and moving on.
Yeah, that was a crazy way to close it out. Like we said in general, 50